Hello, everyone, and welcome to 24/7 Football. And as we know, in the last few days, Wigan Athletic have entered administration seemingly from nowhere. We had no indication as to this was going to happen. I don't think the fans did either. So we've got Jay Whittle on to talk to us, who is a Wigan fan. Jay, thanks for taking the time out for coming to speak to us, mate.
I'm delighted to be on the podcast. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, not a problem. So, you may actually know, Jay, because around this whole Wigan situation, Jay, you actually took it upon yourself to write an open letter to the government as to maybe why this has happened. So, why did you write that letter in the first place?
First and foremost, you get the shock of the administration. There was no signs, there was no indications of what was going to happen, and to obviously get that information given to us on Wednesday afternoon, I believe around dinner time, it was unbelievable. Really, I thought it was a bit of a joke. To be honest, when I first saw it, I got sent a couple of pictures of like Sky News, the massive breaking news writing, Wigan Athletic admin, and I thought someone was just pulling my leg, to be honest. And from there, it was just kind of trying to work out and put together how's this happened, why has it happened, and what's gone on behind the scenes. Because obviously, I'm not going to speculate. It's still pretty much up in the air what's actually happened. There's been a couple of things coming out of the woodwork, but all in all, there's been no real confirmation. But I basically decided to write an open letter on behalf of the Wigan Athletic fans because, for me personally, I couldn't sit there and do nothing. We could get angry, which fans have been getting angry, and they have every right to be. For me, my approach was, look at the situation and think, how can I make a difference? And how can, as a club, we can potentially tackle this? It's a long shot right into the government. I mean, especially in this climate, because coronavirus, the pandemic, has shut the entire country, and obviously that is their priority at the moment. But I feel like with what's coming out of the woodworks, this could be quite possibly one of the biggest sporting scandals in the history of football, because I've never seen anything like it, and that's been echoed by one of the administrators. You'll never see something more unusual in football. It's remarkable, really, and I think it's probably above the EFL to even investigate. I think the football authority always need to be skipped and go straight to the government, and that's what the letter's been trying to do. And the response has been absolutely unbelievable. I know Wigan Athletic fans have been sharing it so much. We've had support from a few of the players, former players, and the reach has been absolutely phenomenal. When I checked this morning, over 450,000 people have seen that, with nearly 2,000 shares. And obviously, the more people that know our story, the more chance it's got of getting in the right hands and obviously getting the support we need. Obviously, we've got a 12-point deduction, which will either come in place if we're outside the bottom three at the end of the season, it'll then be sanctioned. But if not, it'll be sanctioned next season. So we start off in League One on minus 12 points. So effectively, to stay in the Championship, we're going to have to be 12 points clear of the drop. So, it's automatically going to be a massive couple of weeks for the club financially. The worst nightmare for myself and a lot of fans is we don't want to be waking up without a club to support, because that's the worst thing that can happen to any football fan. Because I've spoken to a few Bury fans in the past, and they've said the worst part of their week was Saturday at 3 p.m. because they knew where they should have been and where they used to be. And to say them powerless in this situation, it's given me a bit of inspiration to try and use my voice to kind of almost give a voice to the voiceless, because a lot of people are aggrieved by this. A lot of people are upset, and the whole that'd be left in the community if Wigan did go bust. It would be tragic, to be honest, because the community trusts you so much. The pandemic's been the prime example, really, because they've been constantly ringing up people who are vulnerable, helping them bring essential goods, making sure physically well and mentally, and that is just one of many great examples they've done over the years. And it's still mind boggles me to this day, to be honest. I don't understand. I've been since Wednesday. I've been working on campaigns and spreading the word non-stop. Really, it's been pretty much a 24/7 job. It'll put in your channel quite fit in 24/7 football, because that sums up my last 40 hours 24/7 football, which it's been tiring, but hopefully the rewards will come, whether it takes weeks, months, or even years. I'm not going to stop fighting until a thorough investigation is launched and we can get the justice they deserve.
So all the links to Jay and the campaign will be in the description below. So what's the general feeling amongst the Wigan faithful? I mean, to wake up and see that your club, who's been on a fantastic run of form, looked like you were on the up, you weren't going to be relegated, hadn't conceded in 7 games, to then out of nowhere be told that you're in administration. What's the general feeling around the fan base?
We're all deflated, to be honest. I think to go from the highs we've been seeing with a form of the side, they've been nothing short of phenomenal. They're the only team in England who haven't conceded since the February restart, and that's credit to all the players, Paul Cook and his staff. But to obviously go from the highs of we did a really good performance to beat Stoke on Tuesday night, which that almost seems like a lifetime away, to be honest. And the fans are gutted, because not only we gutted for the future of the club, the staff, everyone who's affected, they got for the players as well, because they've worked so hard to get out of this position, and to see it potentially all be undone and be relegated by a points deduction, it'd be a hard pill to swallow.
So you spoke a little bit about the EFL, because this takeover, obviously they would have had to have passed the fit and proper test and shown proof of funds. I mean, is that hard to see how that test is, how it works when something like this can come out of the blue and potentially destroy your club?
It's always come under fire on it, the fit and proper persons test. There's been a lot of complaints about it over the years, and you've seen it at Bury, you've seen it at Bolton, Blackpool. So many clubs has been affected by that test, and in this circumstance, I'm unsure whether the fit and persons test was the issue. It probably was, but to be honest, I wouldn't like to speculate until official confirmation is made. But I must admit, all the signs are pointing towards that, and I feel like they need to really strengthen that. I was speaking to Andy Burnham last night, and he was saying he was one of the people that campaigned for that test, and he thinks it's actually never been a fit and proper person's test. It's never actually served that purpose. So, I feel like the EFL have to do a lot of thinking over the next couple of weeks, because it could have massive repercussions. And I'm not saying it they are to blame, because it's very easy that investors and owners could have shown them the finances that is required to pass the test. Obviously, they need to show 2 years worth of finance. They could have very easily shown the finances and just withdrew it just like that, because there's nothing stopping that happening. But until anything concrete comes out of the situation, it's hard to comment fairly. But I've always been a believer that the EFL really need to revise that test to protect more clubs from this fate. I mean, we're the first club to go into admin, but with coronavirus pandemic and other issues surrounding finance and football, can't see who's been the last.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there in terms of, I think everyone was just waiting for this type of scenario to happen. I don't think anyone would have guessed it would have been Wigan, considering what has happened in the last few months. But I think you bang on. There will be more clubs that have to accept this fate. So looking more towards the future, then you're campaigning. In terms of a new owner, there's been murmurs around Dave Whelan potentially stepping in and helping the club again. Is that something that the fans would accept, to have Dave back involved with Wigan?
I know Dave Whelan is Wigan through and through. His blood bleeds blue, and I'm sure he'll do whatever he can to help the club, whether it's through potentially investing. I'm not sure, but on my personal opinion, I can't see him taking over, because with all due respect to him, I think he's probably enjoying his retirement. He must be. I think he's in his 80s now, and I think he's enjoying his like I said, enjoying his retirement. And I feel like it'd be an enormous pressure to put on his shoulders. I think the other thing I can kind of say is, whoever comes on to buy Wigan Athletic, All the fans are really asking for is transparency, because we've not had this in that situation, and to go through this once is bad enough. So if this happens again in the future, you know, Wigan Athletic might be no more and following the sad footsteps of Bury.
Well, that certainly is something that no one wants to see. Jay, it's been great to have you on to provide a bit of clarity, even though you've got no clarity yourself as to what has been going on at Wigan. Because from the outside looking in, like I say, it just came completely out of the blue. And I hope the campaigning goes well. If you do want to check out Jay and his campaigning, let him know. Go and check it out in the description below. But Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I hope Wigan get a great outcome out of all of this.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate it.